The blindfold came off and I was staring at two identical faces that could have been carved from marble, beautiful, cold, and absolutely terrifying. My wrists ached from the zip ties they just cut away, and my heart hammered so hard I thought it might crack a rib. "Who are you?" I managed to whisper, my voice cracking. "Where's Taeyang?" "Right here, baby." His voice came from behind me and I spun around so fast I nearly fell. Taeyang sat casually on the hotel suite's leather couch, counting thick stacks of cash like he was playing Monopoly. The dim lighting cast shadows across his face, but I could see his expression clearly, detached, cold, nothing like the man I'd loved for 3 years. Welcome back to Obsessed with Afro-Korean. If this story has you hooked, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. I've got another unforgettable story dropping soon. And while you're here, jump into the comments and tell me where you're watching from. I love seeing how global this community is. Alright, let's get back to it. Taeyang, what's happening? Why did these men bring me here? He didn't even look up from the money. 50 million won, that's what you're worth, apparently. The words didn't register at first, they bounced off my brain like stones off water. What? One of the twins stepped closer, the one with jet black hair slicked back from his sharp features. His suit probably cost more than my entire year's salary. Your boyfriend here accumulated quite the debt with our organization. He's been gambling at our establishments for the past 6 months. He lost everything. Everything you sent him? The other twin added. This one had silver gray hair and a smile that made my skin crawl. 3 years of wire transfers from Japan, very generous of you, very stupid. If this story has you hooked already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what happens next. Drop a like if you're already feeling the tension and comment below what you think Adanna should do. Taeyang, my voice came out small, childlike, tell me they're lying. He finally looked at me and the indifference in his eyes hit me like a physical blow. They're not lying, I lost it all, but don't worry, I found a way to settle the debt. The money can be earned back, the black-haired twin said, circling me slowly like a shark. But you're something special, you're young, you're beautiful, you're untouched, the gray-haired one interrupted, his eyes raking over me in a way that made me want to shower for a year. He assured us you're a virgin, is that true? The room tilted. What, Taeyang, what did you tell them? The truth. He rubber-banded another stack of bills and stuffed it into a duffel bag. You wouldn't sleep with me because you wanted to wait for marriage, said you were saving yourself. Well, congratulations, you're valuable now. You sold me, the words tasted like poison. You sold me to them. Sold is such an ugly word, the gray-haired twin said. We prefer to think of it as acquisition of assets. I lunged at Taeyang, my hands reaching for his throat, his face, anything I could hurt. You bastard, I worked myself to death in Japan for you, I sent you every penny I could spare, I trusted you. I didn't even see the black-haired twin move. 1 second I was screaming at Taeyang, the next I was being pulled back by strong hands that felt like iron manacles around my waist. Enough, the black-haired twin said quietly, but there was something in his voice that made everyone in the room freeze. He released me and walked over to Taeyang, who suddenly looked a lot less confident. You, get out, you have your money, if I see your face again I'll remove it from your skull, understood? Taeyang grabbed his bag and practically ran for the door. He didn't look back, not once. The lock clicked and I was alone with them. Please, I said, hating how my voice shook. I didn't agree to any of this, I don't even know who you are, just let me go and I promise I'll disappear, you'll never see me again. You really don't know? The gray-haired twin laughed. We're the Kong twins, I'm Sujin, that's my brother Hyan Woo, we run this city's underworld, drugs, weapons, politicians, judges, everything, and now we own you too. You don't own me, I said, but it came out as barely a whisper. We paid 50 million won for you, Hyan Woo said, his dark eyes unreadable. That makes you our property. Now we were told certain things about you that increased your value considerably. We need to verify those claims. Verify? My stomach dropped. No, please, I'll pay you back, I'll work, I'll strip, Sujin said casually, like he was asking me to pass the salt. I won't. You will, Hyan Woo's voice was softer but somehow more frightening. Or we'll do it for you and we won't be gentle. My hands shook so badly I could barely grip the hem of my shirt. Tears streamed down my face as I slowly, horribly began to undress. I kept my eyes on the floor, unable to look at them, unable to process that this was really happening. Stop! Hyen Woo's command froze me when I was down to my underwear. Are you really a virgin? I nodded, still not looking up. Say it, Sujin demanded. Yes, I choked out. I never, Taeyang, and I never. There was a long silence, then Sujin laughed, a sound full of dark delight. Well, maybe he wasn't lying after all. Do you know how rare you are, how valuable? I don't care about value, I screamed, finally looking up at them. I'm a person, I have a family, dreams, a life you can't just... The room started spinning. Black spots danced across my vision. I heard Hyen Woo shout something, felt strong arms catch me before I hit the marble floor. Then nothing. I woke up to the smell of antiseptic and the steady beep of a heart monitor. My head felt like it was stuffed with cotton, and when I tried to sit up, a gentle hand pressed me back down. Easy now, a woman's voice said, a doctor, middle-aged, kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. You had a severe panic attack, we've given you a mild sedative. Where am I? The room was private, expensive-looking, not a regular hospital room. A private clinic? The Kong brothers brought you here about 4 hours ago. She paused, her expression becoming uncomfortable. They requested a comprehensive medical examination. My blood turned to ice. What kind of examination? She didn't meet my eyes. A gynecological exam to verify your status. She handed me a folder. The results are here. I'm required to give them to you first, though the brothers already know. My hands trembled as I opened it. Medical jargon I barely understood, but one line was crystal clear. Hymen intact. Patient is confirmed virginal. They had no right, I whispered. No, the doctor agreed softly. They didn't, I'm sorry. She glanced at the door nervously. But they paid a lot of money and they're very powerful men. I have a family to think about. The door opened and Hyen Woo walked in, followed by Sujin. The doctor practically fled. You're awake, Hyen Woo said. He almost sounded relieved. Good. The doctor confirmed it, Sujin said, that predatory smile back on his face. You really are untouched. Do you know what that means to men like us? You're not just valuable, you're priceless. I want to go home, I said, my voice stronger now despite the sedatives. I want to go back to my family in the Philippines. About that, Hyen Woo said, pulling out his phone and showing me the screen. Photos of my mother, my younger siblings, and my apartment building back home. Your visa expired 3 months ago. You've been working illegally in Korea. Your ex-boyfriend was kind enough to provide us with detailed records of your employment, your family's information, their addresses, their daily routines. The threat was clear, even unspoken. If you run, Sujin added, if you go to the police, if you try anything at all, your family will pay the price. We have people everywhere, Adanna, the Philippines, Japan, here, everywhere. So what do you want from me? I asked, even though I was terrified of the answer. You'll live at our estate, Hyen Woo said. You'll have everything you need, food, clothes, safety. In return, you belong to us. You do what we say when we say it. You mean I'm your prisoner? We prefer to think of it as protective custody, Sujin said with a smirk. And if I refuse? Hyen Woo's expression didn't change. Your mother works at a textile factory in Manila. She walks home alone every night at 9:30. Your brother attends San Felipe High School. Your sister works at a convenience store on Rizal Avenue. He leaned closer. I can have any of them disappear before sunrise. Choose wisely. I had no choice at all. The Kong estate was like something out of a movie, sprawling grounds, mansion with marble floors and crystal chandeliers, staff who moved like ghosts and avoided eye contact. My room was bigger than my entire apartment in Tokyo had been, with a king-sized bed, a balcony overlooking manicured gardens, and bars on the windows disguised as decorative ironwork. A prison, no matter how beautiful. An older woman knocked and entered. Mrs. Park, the head housekeeper. She carried 2 dresses draped over her arm. The masters want you at dinner tonight, she said, her Korean heavily accented but clear. You may choose what to wear. One dress was modest, high-necked and long-sleeved. The other was red, tight and cut so low I'd barely be covered. The choice was a test, obviously. The modest one, I said. Mrs. Park's expression softened slightly, approval maybe or pity. Wise choice, child. A word of advice. Master Hyen Woo is cold but fair. He keeps his word. Master Sujin, she hesitated. Be careful around Master Sujin, never be alone with him. That night at dinner, I understood what she meant. The dining room could have seated 30 people, but it was just the three of us at one end of a massive table. Hyun Woo sat at the head, me to his right, Sujin to his left. The food was exquisite: Korean barbecue, japchae, kimchi, dishes I couldn't name, but everything tasted like ash in my mouth. Eat, Hyun Woo said, noticing I'd barely touched my plate. You need your strength. For what? I couldn't help asking. Sujin laughed. Curious little thing, isn't she? I like that. His foot found mine under the table, sliding up my calf. I jerked away and he laughed harder. Sujin, Hyun Woo's voice was sharp. Stop. What? I'm just being friendly. She belongs to both of us, brother. You can't keep her all to yourself. I can, and I will. We agreed. She's not to be touched until we decide what to do with her. You decided that. I just want to. Enough. Hyun Woo stood abruptly. Adanna, go to your room. Mrs. Park will bring you tea. I didn't need to be told twice. But as I passed Sujin's chair, his hand shot out and grabbed my wrist, yanking me close enough that I could smell the whiskey on his breath. Soon, he whispered against my ear, very soon you'll be in my bed screaming my name, and there's nothing my brother can do about it. Let her go. Hyun Woo's voice was deadly quiet. Sujin released me, but his eyes promised dark things. I ran through the hallways, past marble statues and oil paintings that probably cost more than my life, until I found my room and locked the door. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Mrs. Park brought tea as promised, but I couldn't drink it. I couldn't do anything but sit on the edge of that enormous bed and try to figure out how my life had become a nightmare. 3 days passed. 3 days of meals I barely touched, of staying in my room as much as possible, of flinching every time I heard footsteps in the hallway. Hyun Woo checked on me twice, cold, clinical visits where he asked if I needed anything and left when I said no. Sujin, thankfully, I didn't see at all. On the 4th day, I couldn't take the confinement anymore. I needed air, space, anything but these 4 walls. The estate was huge, surely I could find somewhere to breathe without running into either of them. I was wrong. I'd made it to the gardens, was actually starting to feel almost human again when a guard appeared. Young, nervous-looking, fidgeting with his radio. You're the new girl, he said in Korean, looking me up and down in a way that made my skin crawl. The virgin the masters bought. Leave me alone. I turned to walk away. He grabbed my arm, spinning me around. Not so fast, you know, the masters aren't here right now, they're in Seoul on business, won't be back until tomorrow. His grip tightened. We could have some fun, they'd never know. Let go of me. I tried to pull away, but he was stronger. Come on, don't be like that, you're going to spread your legs for them anyway, what's one more? He never finished the sentence. Hyun Woo appeared out of nowhere. I didn't even see where he came from, and the guard was on the ground, Hyun Woo's fist connecting with his face again and again with brutal efficiency. The sound of bone breaking was sickening. Master Kong, another guard came running. Stop, you'll kill him. Hyun Woo did stop, but only because the man was unconscious and bloody on the ground. He stood, breathing hard, his knuckles split and bleeding. Then he turned to me and his expression shifted from rage to something that might have been concern. Did he hurt you? His voice was surprisingly gentle. I shook my head, unable to speak. Are you sure? Did he touch you? Just my arm, I managed. You stopped him before. Good. He pulled out his phone and made a call. Get this piece of garbage out of my sight. Fire him. Make sure every guard knows what happens when they touch what's mine. He hung up and looked at me again. Come with me. He led me back to the mansion, but instead of my room, he took me to what looked like a private study: leather chairs, floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, a massive desk. He poured himself a drink and offered me one. I shook my head. Sit, he said. It wasn't a request. I sat. That won't happen again, he said after a long silence. I'll have Mrs. Park assign you a personal guard, female, someone you can trust. Trust, the word came out bitter. You want me to trust anyone in this house? You can trust me. I almost laughed. You bought me like cattle, you're holding me prisoner, you threaten my family, why would I ever trust you? Something flickered across his face, regret, maybe, or pain. Because unlike my brother, I won't hurt you, I won't force you, and I keep my promises. What promises? You never promised me anything except a life in a cage. He set down his glass and looked at me directly. I promise you this, as long as you're under my protection, no one will harm you, not the guards, not our enemies, not even Sujin. And what about you, who protects me from you? He didn't answer, he just stood and walked to the door. Get some rest. Tomorrow we're having your visa situation handled properly. You'll have legal status, a bank account in your name, everything you need. You won't be helpless. Except I'll still be your prisoner. He paused in the doorway. Yes, except for that. That night I was jolted awake by my door crashing open. Sujin stood there, swaying slightly drunk, his eyes wild and unfocused. Finally, he slurred, "Brother's asleep, the guard shift just changed, no one will interrupt us." I scrambled backward on the bed, my heart in my throat. Get out. You're mine too, you know, half mine, we paid together. He stumbled toward me, fumbling with his belt. Been thinking about you for days, that pretty face, that tight little body, time to break you in. Sujin, please. I like it when they beg. He grabbed my ankle, yanking me toward him. I screamed. The door exploded inward, literally. Hyen Woo kicked it so hard it came off the hinges. His face was a mask of pure fury. He pulled Sujin off me and threw him across the room. Sujin crashed into the dresser, and before he could recover, Hyen Woo was on him, fists flying. You piece of shit, Hyen Woo snarled between punches. I told you she was off limits, I told you. She's half mine, Sujin managed between blows. Not anymore, you just lost your share. Hyen Woo hauled him up by his collar and threw him toward the door where guards had gathered. Take him, lock him in the West Wing. No one lets him out until I say so. Are you still watching? This story is about to get even more intense. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next part. Hit that like button if you're team Hyen Woo and comment below if you think Adanna should try to escape or stay. Let's hear your thoughts. After the guards dragged Sujin away, still cursing and spitting blood, Hyen Woo turned to me. I was shaking so badly my teeth chattered. Are you hurt? He asked. I shook my head, unable to form words. Did he? No, you stopped him again. My voice came out as a whisper. Why do you keep saving me? He didn't answer. Instead, he grabbed a blanket from my bed and wrapped it around my shoulders. You'll sleep in the room next to mine tonight, and every night, if anyone tries anything, I'll hear it. I don't understand you, I said, tears finally spilling over. You bought me, you own me, but you protect me like... Like what? Like you actually care. His jaw tightened. Get some rest, we'll talk in the morning. But morning brought a new nightmare. I woke to shouting, Hyen Woo's voice, angry and sharp, coming from somewhere downstairs. I found Mrs. Park in the hallway, her face pale. What's happening? Master Sujin, she said quietly. He made a deal while Master Hyen Woo was sleeping. My stomach dropped. What kind of deal? Before she could answer, Hyen Woo appeared at the top of the stairs, his phone in his hand, his expression darker than I'd ever seen it. Get dressed, he told me, quickly, we don't have much time. Time for what? What's going on? My brother sold you to the Jade Dragons. They're coming to collect you at midnight tonight. The room spun. He what? He made a deal for 200 million won, cash up front. They paid him 3 hours ago. Hyen Woo's hands clenched into fists. The Jade Dragons run the sex trafficking ring in Seoul. Once they have you, I'll never get you back. Then let them take me, I heard myself say. Let them, at least then I won't be trapped between you and your psychotic brother anymore. He grabbed my shoulders, forcing me to look at him. Adanna, listen to me, the Jade Dragons don't keep girls for themselves, they break them and sell them. You'd be passed around to dozens of men, maybe hundreds, until there's nothing left of you. Is that what you want? I started crying. I just want to go home, I want my mother, I want my life back. For the first time since I'd met him, Hyen Woo's expression softened into something almost human. I know, and I'm sorry, but right now we need to focus on keeping you alive. Will you trust me just for today? What choice did I have? He hid me in a panic room behind his study, a small, windowless space with monitors showing every angle of the estate. He brought me food, water, a phone to call my mother and lie that everything was fine. They'll come at midnight, he said. I'll handle it, but if anything goes wrong, if they get past me, there's a tunnel. Mrs. Park knows where it leads, she'll get you out. What about you? Don't worry about me. But I did worry. I watched on those monitors as midnight approached, as black SUVs pulled up to the estate gates, as men with guns poured out. At least 20 of them, maybe more. Hyen Woo met them at the entrance with only 4 of his guards. The leader, a scarred man with a gold tooth, stepped forward. "We paid Kang Sujin for the girl, we're here to collect." "My brother had no authority to make that deal," Hyen Woo said calmly. "The girl is mine, not for sale. We paid 200 million won. I'll return your money with interest, but the girl stays." Gold Tooth smiled. "That's not how this works, Kong. Your brother took our money, we keep the money and the girl, or we take them both by force, your choice." I watched Hyen Woo's hand move to his jacket. "Then you've made your choice too." What happened next was chaos. Gunfire erupted. I screamed even though no one could hear me. On the monitors, I watched Hyen Woo move like something out of an action movie, fluid, precise, deadly. His guards fought, but they were outnumbered. Then the monitors went black. I heard explosions, more gunfire, shouting in Korean and Chinese. The panic room door had a small window, and through it I could see smoke filling the hallway. Someone was trying to break in. The door shuddered with each impact, once, twice, 3 times. Then it stopped. Silence. The door opened and I screamed, but it was Hyen Woo, covered in blood, his suit torn, a gash across his cheek, but alive. "It's over," he said, "they're gone." "Are you?" I couldn't finish, couldn't process the relief flooding through me. "I'm fine, most of this isn't my blood." He held out his hand. "Come on, we need to get you cleaned up." And I threw my arms around him before I could stop myself, sobbing into his bloody shirt. "I thought they'd kill you, I thought." His arms came around me, careful, gentle. "I told you I'd protect you, I keep my promises." For a long moment we just stood there, then reality crashed back and I pulled away, embarrassed. "What happens now?" I asked. "Now," he wiped blood from his face, "now I deal with my brother." He found Sujin in a hotel downtown, hiding out with the cash he'd been paid. Hyen Woo's men dragged him back to the estate, and I watched from the top of the stairs as Hyen Woo confronted him in the foyer. "You sold her," Hyen Woo said, his voice deadly quiet. "You put her life in danger for money." "She's just a girl," Sujin spat. "We can buy a dozen more." "She's not just anything, and you're done." Hyen Woo made a call, and within an hour men in white coats arrived. "A private psychiatric facility," he explained to Sujin, "voluntary commitment that would become involuntary if he resisted." "You can't do this," Sujin screamed as they restrained him. "I'm your brother, your twin." "You were my brother," Hyen Woo said coldly. "Now you're just someone who tried to hurt what's mine. You'll stay there until you're no longer a danger. Could be months, could be years, that's up to you." I watched them take Sujin away, still screaming threats and curses. Part of me felt sorry for him, most of me felt relieved. Later that night, Hyen Woo found me on the balcony of my room, staring at the stars and trying to process everything that had happened. "Can't sleep?" he asked. I shook my head. "Every time I close my eyes, I see those men, the guns, the blood." He stood beside me, silent for a moment. "I'm sorry you had to witness that. You saved my life again." "It's becoming a habit." There was almost a smile in his voice, almost. "Hyen Woo," I said carefully, "what happens now, with Sujin gone, what does that mean for me?" He turned to look at me, and in the moonlight his face was different somehow, less cold, more human. "It means you have a choice." "A choice?" "Your family is safe. I've had my people ensure they're protected. No one will touch them. Your visa situation is resolved. You have legal status now, a Korean ID, a bank account with enough money to start over anywhere you want." He pulled an envelope from his jacket and handed it to me. "Plane ticket to Manila or Tokyo or anywhere else, your choice." I stared at the envelope like it might bite me. "You're letting me go. I'm giving you the freedom I should have given you from the start." His voice was quiet. "What my brother and I did, what I did was wrong. You're not property, you never were. If you want to leave, I won't stop you." "And if I stay?" The question hung in the air between us. He looked surprised that I'd even asked. "Why would you stay?" "I don't know," I admitted. "Maybe because you've saved my life 3 times now, maybe because I see something in you that's different from your brother, or maybe I'm just crazy." I looked up at him. "But if I stay, what would that mean?" It would mean you're here by choice, not as a prisoner, not as property. You'd be free to come and go, to live your life. I'd protect you, provide for you, but you'd owe me nothing. Nothing. Nothing, he met my eyes. Adanna, I won't lie to you, I'm not a good man, I've done terrible things, I'll probably do more terrible things, but I'd never hurt you, and I'd kill anyone who tried. My heart was pounding. That's not exactly a normal relationship dynamic. Nothing about this is normal. A ghost of a smile crossed his face. But if you stay, we could try to make it something better than what it started as. I should have taken the ticket, I should have run as far and fast as I could. But something in his eyes, something vulnerable and honest and real, made me stay. 2 weeks, I said. Give me 2 weeks to think about it. Don't pressure me, don't try to convince me, just let me figure out who you really are. He nodded. 2 weeks, you have my word. Those 2 weeks changed everything. Hyen Woo kept his distance, but I watched him. I saw how he treated his staff, firm but fair, remembering their names and their families. I saw how he handled business, ruthless when necessary but honorable in his own way. He never went back on his word. And I saw how he looked at me when he thought I wasn't watching, like I was something precious and fragile, like I was someone worth protecting. Mrs. Park told me stories. How Hyen Woo had taken over the family business after their father died, how he'd tried to keep Sujin under control for years, how he'd always been the one with a conscience, however twisted. He's not like other men in this world, she said one afternoon while serving me tea. He could have taken you by force 100 times, but he never did. That means something. On the 13th day, I found him in his study, working late. He looked up when I entered, surprise flickering across his face. Adanna, is everything all right? I'm staying, I said simply. He stood slowly. You're sure? I'm sure, not because I'm afraid, not because I have nowhere else to go, but because I want to. I took a breath. I want to see where this goes, whatever this is. He crossed the room in 3 strides and cupped my face in his hands, his touch gentle despite the calluses and scars. You won't regret this, I promise. You make a lot of promises. And I keep them all. He leaned his forehead against mine. Stay with me, not as my property, not as my prisoner, but as someone I care about, someone I... He stopped, but I knew what he'd been about to say. I felt it too, impossible and insane as it was. Say it, I whispered. I'm falling in love with you, he said. I know I have no right, I know it's crazy, but from the moment you stood up to me, refused to break even when you should have, I can't stop thinking about you. I kissed him. It was impulsive and probably stupid, but I did it anyway. And when he kissed me back, careful and reverent like I might shatter, I knew I'd made my choice. But there was still unfinished business. I want to see him, I told Hyen Woo 3 days later over breakfast. He didn't need to ask who, Taeyang. He started all of this, he sold me like I was nothing. I need to face him, I need him to see that he didn't break me. Hyen Woo studied me for a long moment. You're sure? I'm sure. It took his people 2 days to find Taeyang. He was hiding in an underground gambling den in Busan, already gambling away half the money he'd gotten from selling me. Pathetic, didn't even begin to cover it. Hyen Woo's men brought him to a warehouse on the outskirts of Seoul. When I walked in with Hyen Woo beside me, Taeyang's face went white. Adanna, he stammered, I can explain. Explain what? My voice was steady, stronger than I'd ever heard it. Explain how you gambled away 3 years of my sacrifice. Explain how you sold me to the Mafia like I was a used car. Explain how you didn't even look back. I was desperate, they would have killed me. So you condemned me instead. I stepped closer and he actually flinched. Good, you were supposed to love me. I worked myself to exhaustion for you. I sent you every penny I could spare. I trusted you with my future. I'm sorry, he whimpered. I'm so sorry, please just let me go, I'll disappear, you'll never see me again. Oh, you'll disappear, Hyen Woo said coldly from behind me, but first you're going to pay back everyone you stole from her with interest. I don't have it, I spent it. Then you'll work it off? My people have connections all over Asia. You'll work in labor camps, construction sites, whatever pays, and every penny goes to Adanna until the debt is cleared. Hyen Woo pulled out a contract. Sign it, or I let Adanna decide what happens to you. Taeyang looked at me and whatever he saw in my eyes made him grab the pen. His hands shook so badly he could barely sign. "One more thing," I said as Hyen Woo's men prepared to take him away. "If you ever contact me again, if you ever come near my family, if I even hear your name in passing, I won't stop him from killing you, understood?" He nodded frantically. "Get him out of my sight," Hyen Woo ordered. After they dragged Taeyang away, I stood there breathing hard, adrenaline pumping through my veins. Hyen Woo's hand found mine. "How do you feel?" he asked. "Free," I said, surprised to find it was true. For the first time since this nightmare started, I actually feel free. He pulled me close. "You are free, and you're stronger than you know." 3 months later, everything had changed. I enrolled at Seoul National University in their engineering program, something I'd always dreamed of but never thought I could afford. My professor, an elderly woman with kind eyes, had looked at my transcript from the Philippines and smiled. "You have potential," she'd said, "don't waste it." I didn't plan to. Hyen Woo kept his distance during the day, giving me space to build my own life, but every evening we'd have dinner together. Sometimes we talked about my classes, sometimes about his business, the parts of it he could share. Sometimes we just sat in comfortable silence. My family still didn't know the whole truth. They knew I had a boyfriend, knew I was safe and happy. That was enough for now. One evening, Hyen Woo asked me to meet him on the rooftop of a building downtown. When I arrived, my breath caught. The entire rooftop was covered in lights, thousands of them creating a canopy of stars. A table was set for two, overlooking the city skyline. "What's all this?" I asked. He looked nervous, actually nervous. I'd seen him face down 20 armed men without flinching, but now his hands trembled slightly as he took mine. "Adanna, I know how we started. I know I can never erase what I did, how I treated you in the beginning, but you've changed my life. You've made me want to be better. To be worthy of you." He dropped to one knee and my heart stopped. "I'm not asking you to forget the past. I'm asking you to build a future with me. Marry me, not because you're trapped or afraid or have nowhere else to go, but because you choose me the same way I choose you every single day." He pulled out a ring, simple, elegant, perfect. "Yes," I said through tears. "Yes, I'll marry you." He stood and kissed me, and the city lights sparkled around us like the stars I used to wish on back home. The same stars I'd looked at from that balcony months ago when I thought my life was over. I'd been so wrong. My life wasn't over, it was just beginning. Looking back now, I can see how broken we both were when we met. Him, trapped in a violent world he'd inherited, me betrayed and sold by someone I loved. We had no right to find happiness together, no right to turn something so dark into something beautiful. But we did it anyway. Because sometimes the most unexpected places lead to the most extraordinary destinations. Sometimes the person who saves you is the last person you'd ever expect. And sometimes love finds you in the darkness and refuses to let go. I'd been sold to the Mafia twins for 50 million won, but I'd found something priceless, myself, my strength, and a love that defied every odd. Mrs. Park was right. Hyen Woo wasn't like other men in his world, and I wasn't the same scared girl who'd woken up blindfolded in that hotel suite. We were survivors, we were fighters, and we were finally impossibly free. If you made it to the end of this incredible journey, thank you for staying with Adanna's story. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss another story like this one. Drop a like if this emotional roller coaster had you on the edge of your seat, and comment below, what would you have done in Adanna's situation? Would you have stayed or left? Let's discuss in the comments. See you in the next story.